The human cost of the Russia-Ukraine war has been immense, with high casualties on both sides. As of September 2024, Russia has reportedly lost around 621,550 soldiers since the war began in February 2022. This figure includes both those killed and wounded in action. The Ukrainian military has been inflicting heavy losses on Russian forces through ongoing battles along the front lines. The war in Ukraine has also had a significant impact on Russia's economy and military. Here's how the conflict has strained Russia's resources and capabilities. Russia has faced unprecedented sanctions from Western nations. These include bans on Russian oil and gas imports, freezing of Russian assets abroad, exclusion from the SWIFT financial system, and restrictions on high-tech imports like semiconductors, military components, and machinery. Sanctions have particularly hit Russia's energy, defense, and technology sectors. The oil and gas industry, which forms the backbone of Russia's economy, has faced challenges due to export restrictions and price caps, reducing revenue and limiting investment. Russia's reliance on foreign technology has caused significant disruptions in industries like manufacturing, aviation, and automobiles, as it cannot easily replace critical imports such as electronics, aircraft parts, and advanced machinery. In 2022, due to the economic isolation caused by sanctions, though the Russian economy has proven somewhat resilient due to strong commodity exports to countries like China and India, growth has stagnated and long-term prospects are bleak. Some estimates suggest that Russia's GDP dropped by 2–3% in 2022, with further contraction expected as the war and sanctions continue. The Russian ruble saw significant devaluation early in the conflict due to sanctions, although it has since stabilized due to strict currency controls imposed by the government. Inflation has spiked, particularly for goods that rely on foreign imports. This has led to higher prices for everyday items, impacting the standard of living for Russian citizens. Many skilled professionals, particularly in technology, academia, and finance, have fled Russia since the start of the war. These people are often critical to Russia's future development in high-tech and economic sectors. Wealthy Russians have moved large amounts of capital out of the country to safeguard their assets from sanctions and the deteriorating economy. Russia has lost its European energy market due to sanctions and Europe's pivot away from Russian gas. Although Russia has sought new markets in Asia, particularly China and India, these shifts have come at a cost, including the need to sell oil at a discount and invest in new infrastructure, such as pipelines to China. Long-term prospects for the Russian energy sector have dimmed due to reduced foreign investment and technological restrictions affecting oil extraction and transportation. Russia has dramatically increased military spending, diverting funds from other sectors of the economy. This has strained the national budget, especially as the war drags on with no clear end in sight. To quell unrest and dissatisfaction, the government has also increased welfare spending, including pension payouts and public sector wages. This combination of increased military and social spending has created budget deficits. Russia has faced heavy military casualties, with estimates suggesting tens of thousands of soldiers have been killed or wounded. These losses, combined with low morale and logistical challenges, have weakened the effectiveness of Russian forces. Russia has also lost a significant amount of military equipment, including tanks, aircraft, and artillery, either destroyed in battle or captured by Ukrainian forces. These losses have put immense pressure on Russia's defense industry to replace the equipment quickly. Difficulty replenishing military hardware *. Sanctions have restricted Russia's access to critical components, such as advanced semiconductors, which are vital for modern military technology. This has made it difficult for Russia to build or maintain precision-guided weapons, drones, and other sophisticated systems. The Russian defense industry, while large, has been struggling to keep up with the demand for new equipment. Factories are working at full capacity, but there are delays in production due to the lack of key components. In September 2022, Russia announced a partial mobilization, drafting hundreds of thousands of reservists. This move sparked widespread protests and a mass exodus of military-age men from the country. Many of the mobilized troops were undertrained and under-equipped, leading to high casualties and weakening the overall effectiveness of Russia's military operations. Prolonged warfare has stretched the Russian military thin, both in terms of manpower and resources, making it more difficult to maintain sustained operations. Corruption and inefficiency within the Russian military have led to logistical failures, including a lack of proper supplies for troops and delays in delivering equipment to the front lines. This has resulted in poor conditions for soldiers and has hampered Russia's ability to maintain a cohesive, well-equipped fighting force. The war has led to international isolation for Russia, particularly among Western countries. This has weakened Russia's ability to form new military alliances or acquire critical technologies from abroad. Russian military operations in other regions, such as Syria, have been scaled back due to the reallocation of troops and resources to Ukraine. Some of Russia's most experienced and elite military units have suffered significant losses in Ukraine, including airborne divisions and special forces. These units are difficult to replace, and their depletion has weakened the overall capability of Russia's military. While Russia's economy and military have shown some resilience, the war in Ukraine has inflicted significant long-term damage. Economically, sanctions and international isolation have crippled key sectors, stunted growth, and led to rising inflation and poverty. Militarily, high casualties, equipment losses, and logistical challenges have stretched Russian forces thin, making it increasingly difficult for the country to sustain its war efforts without further strain on its economy and social structure. The long-term sustainability of Russia's military operations and economy is in question as the war drags on, and the country becomes more isolated from the global community. The human cost of the Russia-Ukraine war has been immense, with high casualties on both sides. As of September 2024, Russia has reportedly lost around 621,550 soldiers since the war began in February 2022. This figure includes both those killed and wounded in action. The Ukrainian military has been inflicting heavy losses on Russian forces through ongoing battles along the front lines. These losses have been compounded by the destruction of significant Russian military equipment. To date, Russia has lost over 8,600 tanks, more than 16,800 armored vehicles and 17,700 artillery systems as well as numerous aircraft, drones, and other military hardware. The daily attrition rate remains high. For example, on September 5, 2024, Russia reportedly lost 1,200 soldiers in just one day due to intense fighting. These figures reflect the intensity of the conflict and the heavy toll it continues to exact on Russian forces. The war has been characterized by widespread destruction, heavy artillery exchanges, and strategic offensives on both sides, with Russia suffering significant casualties as it attempts to maintain control of the territories it occupies in Ukraine. In addition to human losses, the war has caused extensive damage to infrastructure, displaced millions of civilians, and led to a severe humanitarian crisis in the region.